Negative thinking is one of the most powerful forces holding people back from living their best lives. It creeps in quietly, whispering doubts, magnifying fears, and convincing you that you are not enough. Have you ever noticed how a single negative thought can spiral into a storm that affects your mood, your decisions, and even your relationships? The truth is, negative thinking is not a reflection of reality. It's a mental habit, a lens that colors the way you see the world. And just like any habit, it can be changed. Imagine what your life could look like if, instead of being held hostage by self-doubt and fear, your mind became your strongest ally, guiding you with clarity, confidence, and hope. This audiobook is written and published by the Audiobook Library, and it is designed to help you do exactly that: break free from negative thinking, rebuild your mindset, and unlock the mental strength to shape a better future. Chapter 1. The Trap of Negative Thinking. Negative thinking is one of the most destructive mental habits a person can develop, and yet it is also one of the most common. What makes it so dangerous is not just the way it colors your perspective, but the way it quietly shapes your entire life without you even noticing. Most people underestimate the power of a single thought. They believe their thoughts are private, fleeting, and harmless. But a thought repeated often enough becomes a belief. A belief becomes a mindset, and a mindset determines your actions, your relationships, and ultimately your destiny. The invisible prison. When negative thinking dominates your inner world, you start living inside an invisible prison. The bars are not made of steel but of words like "I can't," "I'm not enough," and "it will never work out." Each negative thought adds another bar, until one day you realize you are trapped, not by circumstances, but by your own mind. For example, think about opportunities you may have avoided because of self-doubt. Perhaps you wanted to apply for a promotion, start a business, or ask someone out, but before you could take action, the voice of negativity whispered, "Don't bother, you'll fail." The opportunity slipped away, not because you weren't capable, but because you surrendered to the prison of your thoughts. The lies negative thinking tells. Negative thinking often presents itself as realistic. It convinces you that it's simply preparing you for disappointment. But here's the truth. Most negative thoughts are lies. You're not smart enough. You always mess things up. People don't like you. It's too late to change. None of these statements are facts. They are assumptions, fears, or distortion. Yet the mind repeats them until they feel real. Over time, you stop questioning them, and they become the script by which you live. This is the danger of what psychologists call cognitive distortions, thinking errors that twist reality. You exaggerate failures, minimize successes, and assume the worst possible outcomes. The more you indulge these distortions, the more you strengthen the chains of negative thinking. How negative thinking shapes your life. Every thought sends ripples into your behavior. A negative thought does not stop at your mind. It influences your choices and actions. If you believe you're unworthy, you might avoid pursuing relationships or opportunities. If you expect failure, you may put in less effort, ensuring the failure actually happens. If you constantly think about what might go wrong, your body responds with stress, tension, and fatigue. In this way, negative thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You expect failure, so you behave in ways that bring it about, which reinforces the belief, which strengthens the cycle. The spiral effect. One of the most insidious aspects of negative thinking is how quickly it spirals. A single thought can trigger an entire chain reaction. I made a mistake at work. I'm terrible at my job. I'm going to get fired. I'll never find another job. I'll lose everything. What began as one small event snowballs into a catastrophic scenario. This is called catastrophic thinking, and it drains your energy, creates anxiety, and blinds you to rational solution. The illusion of control. Negative thinking also tricks you into believing you are powerless. You start to feel that life is happening to you, not through you. You blame circumstances, luck, or other people for your problems, instead of recognizing the role your mindset plays. This loss of perceived control is devastating, because control is closely tied to motivation. When you believe you can influence your outcomes, you take action. But when you feel powerless, you stop trying. Negative thinking therefore doesn't just make you feel bad, it paralyzes you. The cost of negative thinking. The cost of negative thinking is enormous, even though it's often invisible. It drains your confidence, sabotages your performance, and damages relationships. Over time, it can even affect your physical health, contributing to stress-related illnesses. But perhaps the greatest cost is lost potential. Every time you choose to believe a negative thought, you close a door to possibility. You shrink your future to match the limitations of your mind. The first step: awareness. The good news is that negative thinking is not permanent. It is a habit, not a destiny. And like any habit, it can be unlearned. But the first step is awareness. You must begin noticing the thoughts that pass through your mind. Pay attention to the words you use when speaking to yourself. Ask, am I assuming the worst? Am I exaggerating problems and ignoring solutions? Am I repeating old fears instead of facing new possibilities? Awareness breaks the automatic cycle. It creates a space between thought and belief, where you can choose whether to accept or reject the message. Hope beyond negativity. Imagine living with a mind that works for you instead of against you. Imagine replacing "I can't" with "I will try." Imagine silencing the inner critic and amplifying the inner coach. This is not just wishful thinking, it is entirely possible. People all over the world have trained their minds to break free from negativity and step into confidence, clarity, and hope. You can do the same. The first step is recognizing the trap. The second step is deciding you will no longer live inside it. Chapter 2. Rewiring your mind. How to break the cycle of negativity. If Chapter 1 revealed the trap of negative thinking, Chapter 2 is about showing you the way out. Negative thoughts may feel automatic, but they are not permanent. The brain is incredibly adaptable, a quality called neuroplasticity. This means you can rewire the way you think, replacing destructive mental patterns with empowering ones. The process is not easy, because negative thinking feeds on repetition and familiarity, but with consistent practice, you can transform your mental landscape. In this chapter, we'll explore practical tools, powerful mindset shifts, and real-life examples to help you break free. The science of thought patterns. Your brain is like a field of grass. Every time you think a thought, it's as if you're walking across that field. The more often you walk the same path, the deeper the trail becomes. Soon it becomes the easiest path to take. That's why negative thoughts can feel automatic. They are simply well-worn trails in your mental field. But here's the empowering truth: you can create new trails. By consciously choosing new thoughts, you weaken the old negative pathways and strengthen positive ones. Over time, the brain naturally prefers the new, healthier route. This is how you move from being a prisoner of negativity to being the architect of your own mindset. Step 1. Recognize the inner critic. Negative thinking often disguises itself as your inner critic. This voice doesn't just highlight mistakes, it exaggerates them and attaches them to your identity. Instead of saying "I made a mistake," it says "I'm a failure." To break free, you must first separate yourself from this voice. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Imagine the inner critic as a radio station playing in the background. You don't have to believe or obey everything it says. You can change the station. Practical exercise. For 1 week, write down your negative thoughts as they arise. Next to each thought, label it inner critic, fear, old belief or distortion. By labeling them, you strip them of their power and begin to see them as patterns, not truths. Step 2. Challenge the thought. Not every thought deserves your trust. Just because a thought shows up, doesn't make it true. The next step is to challenge your negative thinking. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? What evidence supports this thought? What evidence contradicts it? Would I say this to a loved one? If not, why am I saying it to myself? What's a more balanced or empowering way to look at this situation? For example, negative thought, I always mess things up. I challenge, is that really true? What about the times I succeeded? What about the projects I completed well? Reframe, sometimes I make mistakes, but I also learn and improve. I've succeeded many times before, and I can succeed again. Challenging your thoughts doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means seeing them clearly without distortion. Step 3. Replace negativity with empowering alternatives. It's not enough to silence the negative. You must replace it with something positive and constructive. Think of it like pulling out weeds and planting flowers. If you leave the soil empty, weeds will return. Here are some powerful replacements. Instead of I can't, try I will try. Instead of I always fail, try I am still learning. Instead of this is impossible, try this is difficult, but I'll take one step at a time. Over time, these replacements become natural. They rewire your brain to expect possibility instead of failure. Step 4. Practice gratitude to shift perspective. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to break free from negativity, because it shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Negative thinking feeds on lack. It tells you what you don't have, what went wrong and what might fail. Gratitude interrupts this by forcing you to notice what's good and valuable. Practical exercise. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Be specific. Instead of my family, write the laugh I shared with my sister yesterday. At night, review your day and list one positive moment, no matter how small. This simple practice begins to rewire your mind to search for the good, even in challenging times. Step 5. Create an empowering environment. Your environment shapes your thoughts more than you realize. The books you read, the people you spend time with, the social media you consume, all of these influence whether your mind leans toward positivity or negativity. Spend time with people who uplift you, not those who constantly complain. Limit exposure to negative news or toxic online spaces. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals and affirmations of your worth. When your environment feeds you positive energy, it becomes easier to sustain empowering thought. Step 6. Use visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool because the brain struggles to distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you repeatedly imagine yourself succeeding, staying calm or making progress, you are literally programming your brain to expect those outcomes. Close your eyes and picture yourself overcoming a challenge. Imagine the sights, sounds and emotions of success. Repeat this daily for 5 minutes. Soon, your subconscious begins to believe in this possibility, and your actions follow. Real-life example. From self-doubt to confidence. Consider Maria, a young professional who constantly battled negative thinking. Every time she faced a new project, her inner voice whispered, "You're not capable enough." As a result, she avoided opportunities and stayed stuck in the same role for years. When she began journaling her negative thoughts, she was shocked at how often her inner critic spoke. By challenging those thoughts and reframing them, she began to see patterns. The voice wasn't truth, it was fear. She started replacing "I can't do this" with "I can learn this." With practice, Maria applied for a leadership role she once thought impossible. To her surprise, She not only got the role but thrived in it. Her story shows that breaking free from negativity is not about eliminating fear. It's about refusing to let fear dictate your future. Step 7. Build mental resilience through consistency. Breaking the cycle of negativity is not a one-time effort. It's a daily practice. At first it feels like hard work, because you are fighting against old familiar patterns. But with consistency, it becomes second nature. Think of it like going to the gym. The first few weeks are difficult, but the more you train, the stronger you get. Your mental gym is built through repetition, challenging thoughts, practicing gratitude, surrounding yourself with positivity, and visualizing success. The turning point. Here's the truth. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you interpret it. This single shift is the foundation of freedom. Life will bring setbacks, failures and disappointment, but when you train your mind to see them not as proof of defeat, but as stepping stones to growth, negativity loses its grip. The turning point comes when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from?" Closing thoughts for Chapter 2. Negative thinking is not your identity. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be replaced with something stronger, healthier, and more empowered. By practicing awareness, challenging your thoughts, replacing them with constructive alternatives, and shaping your environment, you are literally rewiring your brain for success. Breaking the cycle of negativity doesn't happen overnight, but every time you choose a positive thought over a negative one, you weaken the old prison and strengthen your freedom. This is the journey of mental liberation, and it begins with the choice to believe that change is possible. Chapter 3. How negative thinking affects every area of your life. In the previous chapters we explored how negative thinking forms, why it's so powerful, and how to begin rewiring your mind. But to fully grasp why it's essential to break free, you need to see just how far-reaching negativity can be. Negative thinking isn't just a private battle inside your head. It spills into every corner of your existence. It shapes how you see yourself, how you act, how you interact with others, and even how your body functions. Many people don't realize the full cost of negativity until they look back and see years of missed opportunities, broken relationships, or health struggles caused by the stories they told themselves. This chapter is designed to give you a full picture, the ripple effect of negative thinking, the hidden costs, and the life-changing potential when you replace it with empowering beliefs. Negative thinking and money. Money is one of the areas where negativity shows its claws most viciously. Think about how many people carry beliefs like, "I'll never be rich. Money is evil. People like me don't succeed financially." These thoughts might sound harmless at first, but they shape behavior. If you believe you'll never be rich, why would you try to learn about investing or start a side business? If you think money is evil, you might unconsciously push it away whenever opportunities come. Negative thinking about money creates self-sabotage. You may procrastinate on financial planning, ignore opportunities for growth, or even spend impulsively just to confirm your inner story of "I can't manage money." On the other hand, positive beliefs open the door to abundance. Believing "I can learn how to manage and grow money" shifts you into action. You start reading, taking courses, or asking questions. You begin to take responsibility and your financial life changes. Example: consider John, who grew up in poverty and carried the belief that wealth is for other people. For years he avoided financial decisions and lived paycheck to paycheck. Only when he started challenging that belief, reading stories of people with similar backgrounds who built wealth, did he shift. With time, he invested in himself, then in a small business, and eventually grew his income far beyond what his family history suggested. His transformation started not with money itself, but with his thoughts about money. 2. Negative thinking and relationships. If money is a battlefield for negative thoughts, relationships are the hidden war zone. How many times have you thought, I'm not lovable, people will always disappoint me, I'll never find the right person? Such thoughts act like invisible walls. They stop you from opening up, trusting, or being vulnerable. You might sabotage a relationship before it even begins, because your mind tells you it's due. In friendships, negative thinking may cause you to misinterpret signals. A friend cancels dinner, and instead of thinking they must be busy, you assume they don't value me. This interpretation can lead to unnecessary conflict or withdrawal, further reinforcing your belief that people don't care. In romantic relationships, the damage can be even greater. If you constantly think I'm not good enough, you may tolerate toxic behavior, cling out of fear of abandonment, or never allow intimacy to flourish. Breaking free means learning to replace those thoughts with healthier ones, like I am worthy of love and respect. Not everyone will disappoint me. Some people will value me deeply. I bring value to every relationship I enter. Example: Sarah spent years in toxic relationships because her inner voice kept saying, I don't deserve better. When she began therapy and rewired that belief, her entire relational world changed. She started setting boundaries, walking away from disrespect, and eventually built a healthy, supportive partnership. Negative thinking and career. In your career, negative thinking can trap you in mediocrity. Thoughts like I'm not smart enough for that promotion. This mindset keeps you from taking risks, asking for raises, or applying for new opportunities. Instead of advancing, you stagnate. Years pass, and you wonder why you're stuck in the same position, while others, sometimes less talented, move ahead. The truth is, many careers don't stall because of lack of talent, but because of lack of belief. Negative thinking convinces you to stay small, avoid discomfort, and resist change. On the flip side, when you replace these thoughts with empowering ones like I can learn and grow into this role, or failure is just feedback, suddenly doors open. You're willing to take the shot, pitch your ideas, and expand your skills. Example: Mark was an employee who wanted to start his own business, but always thought, I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship. After years of staying in a job he disliked, he finally challenged that thought and gave himself permission to try. Within 3 years, his business replaced his salary and gave him freedom he never thought possible. What changed? His mindset. 4. Negative thinking and health. Few people realize how destructive negativity can be to physical health. Science proves that chronic negative thinking, stress, worry, pessimism, weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and increases risk of heart disease. When you constantly think I'm tired, I'm weak, I'll never get better, your body responds. Stress hormones like cortisol flood your system, leaving you more vulnerable to illness. Negative thinkers often neglect exercise, eat poorly, or ignore medical advice because deep down they believe it won't matter anyway. But when you shift to positive, empowering beliefs, your health habits improve. You start thinking, I deserve to be healthy. Every small effort matters. I have the ability to take care of myself. The result: better nutrition, more movement, and stronger resilience. Example: Tom, who struggled with weight for decades, constantly thought, I'll always be unhealthy. It runs in my family. Once he challenged that belief, and reframed it to my choices matter more than my genetics, he started exercising and improving his diet. Within 2 years, he lost weight, gained energy, and reversed conditions he thought were permanent. 5. The hidden cost of negativity. Beyond these 4 areas, money, relationships, career and health, negative thinking eats away at your happiness. It steals the joy of the present moment. You might be at a beautiful dinner with friends, but unable to enjoy it because your mind whispers, this won't last. You might achieve a big milestone but downplay it with, it's not good enough. Negativity shrinks your world. It makes you live smaller than you're meant to live, and the longer you stay in its grip, the more it becomes your default reality. 6. The transformational power of shifting your mind. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up with thoughts like I am capable of creating abundance. I am worthy of love and connection. I can grow and succeed in my career. I am strong and committed to my health. These thoughts inspire new actions, which create new results, which reinforce the positive cycle. Instead of spiraling downward into self-doubt, you spiral upward into growth, success and joy. This doesn't mean life will suddenly become perfect. Challenges will still come, but with a healthy mindset, you'll see them as opportunities rather than proof of failure. Closing thoughts for Chapter 3. Negative thinking is not just an internal nuisance. It's a thief that robs you of opportunities in every area of life. But once you see its effects clearly, you gain the power to fight back. The greatest breakthrough comes when you realize this. Your external life mirrors your internal world. Change your thoughts, and your life will change. As we move forward, remember, negativity is not your destiny. It's just a habit, and habits can be broken, replaced and rebuilt into something extraordinary. Chapter 4. Practical strategies to break free from negative thinking. Up until now, you've gained awareness of how negative thoughts form and how deeply they can affect every area of your life. But awareness alone isn't enough. To truly break free, you need practical strategies, habits, tools and daily practices that rewire your mind and make positivity your default state. Think of your mind like a muscle. If you've been exercising negativity for years, it has grown strong. But the good news is, with the right training, you can build new mental muscles that overpower it. In this chapter, we'll explore proven strategies that help you stop negative thoughts in their tracks and replace them with empowering ones. Catch the thought in real time. The first step in breaking negative thinking is awareness at the moment it happens. Most people let their thoughts run wild like a movie playing in their head. They don't stop to question whether what they're thinking is true or helpful. Here's a powerful practice. Whenever a negative thought enters, pause and label it. For example, when you think, "People don't like me," stop and say, "That's a negative assumption, not reality." Labeling thoughts helps you detach from them. Instead of being controlled, you step into the role of observer. Over time, this weakens the automatic power of negativity. Daily exercise. For the next week, carry a small notebook or use your phone. Every time a negative thought pops up, write it down and label it. By the end of the week, you'll see patterns, recurring fears, doubts, or beliefs that you can specifically target. Challenge the evidence. Negative thoughts often masquerade as truth, but most are just distortions. Once you catch the thought, the next step is to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true, or am I assuming? What evidence do I have for this thought? What evidence do I have against it? Would I say this to a close friend? For example, if you think, "I always fail at everything," write down all the times you've succeeded, even small wins, finishing a project, learning a skill, overcoming a fear. Count as evidence. Suddenly, the thought loses its power. This technique is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's one of the most effective tools for breaking the cycle of self-defeating thoughts. Reframe the narrative. Once you've challenged the negative thought, the next step is to reframe it into a more empowering one. Examples: I'm not good enough. I am growing, improving, and becoming better every day. This is too hard. This is a challenge, but challenges make me stronger. Reframing doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means shifting perspective to see possibilities rather than dead ends. Over time, your brain learns to default to these reframed positive interpretations. If you want to build a new identity, you must repeatedly tell your mind what that identity is. That's where affirmations come in. Affirmations are not magic. They don't instantly change reality, but repeated daily, they reshape your inner dialogue and reprogram your subconscious. Here's how to do it effectively. Write down 5-10 affirmations that directly counter your most common negative thoughts. Make them specific, positive, and present tense. Repeat them every morning and night, out loud if possible. Examples: I am capable of achieving my goals. I attract supportive, loving relationships. I am disciplined, focused, and resilient. Over time, affirmations create new neural pathways. What you repeat becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you act. Build a positivity environment. Your environment influences your mindset more than you realize. If you constantly consume negative media, surround yourself with toxic people, and dwell in chaotic spaces, negativity will thrive. To break free, you must design an environment that fuels positive thinking. Practical steps: audit your social circle. Limit time with people who drain your energy or constantly complain. Seek relationships with people who inspire, encourage, and uplift. Curate your media diet. Choose books, podcasts, and videos that expand your mind and motivate you, instead of content that fills you with fear or comparison. Declutter your space. A messy environment often breeds a messy mind. Creating order and calm in your physical surroundings gives your brain a sense of clarity. When your environment supports you, positive thinking becomes much easier to sustain. 6. Practice gratitude every day. Gratitude is the enemy of negativity. You cannot feel deeply grateful and deeply negative at the same time. Build a simple daily habit. Every morning or night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't need to be big. Sometimes the smallest things have the greatest impact. A good meal, a kind word, a breath of fresh air, a lesson learned from a challenge. The more you train your brain to look for gratitude, the less it will dwell on what's wrong. Use visualization. Your mind doesn't fully distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's real. When you visualize success, confidence, or happiness, your brain begins to act as if it's already happened. Every day, take 5-10 minutes to visualize yourself overcoming challenges, speaking confidently, achieving goals, or living with joy. The key is to imagine not just the picture, but also the emotions. Feel the pride, the excitement, over time, visualization rewires your subconscious to expect good things, rather than dwell in fear. 8. Train with mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is the ultimate tool for breaking the grip of negative thought. Instead of getting lost in them, you learn to observe them without judgment. A simple daily practice. Sit quietly for 5-10 minutes. Focus on your breathing. When a thought comes, don't fight it. Just notice it and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. This practice strengthens the part of your brain that regulates emotions and reduces overthinking. With consistency, you'll find it easier to step out of negativity instead of drowning in it. Take small daily actions. The most overlooked way to break negative thinking is through action. Negative thoughts often freeze people into inaction. They think, I can't start, so they don't. But here's the secret. Action dissolves negativity. Even the smallest steps create momentum, which builds confidence, which weakens doubt. If you fear speaking up, start with 1 sentence in a meeting. If you doubt your health journey, take a 10-minute walk today. If you think you'll never succeed, set 1 micro goal and complete it. Each action proves your negative thoughts wrong, slowly replacing them with confidence. Create a personal reset ritual. Finally, build a ritual you can use whenever negativity strikes hard. This could include taking 3 deep breaths, saying your top affirmation out loud, writing the negative thought down, then tearing up the paper, listening to a song that lifts your mood, moving your body, walking, stretching, or dancing. This ritual acts like a reset button. Instead of spiraling deeper into negativity, You have a reliable way to shift your energy and reclaim control. Final words for Chapter 4. Breaking negative thinking isn't about one big breakthrough. It's about small, consistent practices that reshape your mind. By catching your thoughts, challenging them, reframing them, and building empowering daily habits, you can reprogram your inner world. Remember, negativity may be strong, but it is not permanent. With consistent practice, positivity will become your new default. Chapter 5. Real-life transformations. Breaking the cycle of negativity. It's one thing to hear strategies and techniques. It's another to see them in action, lived out in real people's lives. Abstract ideas can inspire, but stories anchor those ideas into reality. This chapter is about showing you how individuals, ordinary people with ordinary struggles, were able to identify negative thinking, dismantle it, and rebuild their lives on new mental foundations. Their stories will give you hope, clarity, and proof that no matter how deep negativity runs, it can be undone. 1. Sarah. Escaping the cycle of self-doubt. Sarah grew up in a household where success was never celebrated. Every achievement was met with "you could have done better." Over the years, this formed a toxic mental loop. I am never good enough. In her 20s, Sarah worked tirelessly, but even when she landed promotions, her inner dialogue whispered that she was just lucky, or that she would eventually be exposed as a fraud. This wasn't just imposter syndrome, it was deeply ingrained self-doubt. One day, a mentor asked her to keep a success journal. Every evening she wrote down 3 wins from her day, no matter how small. At first she struggled to list even one, but within weeks she began noticing patterns. She was delivering projects on time, solving problems creatively, and receiving praise she used to dismiss. This simple habit reframed her thinking. Her brain began to collect evidence of her worth, slowly silencing the voice of doubt. Within 2 years, Sarah wasn't just surviving in her career, she was thriving. She went from employee to manager, and eventually launched her own consulting business. Lesson: negativity can blind you to your own strengths. Systematically tracking your wins can rewire your brain to recognize your capabilities. David. From financial fear to financial freedom. David was raised with the mantra, money doesn't grow on trees. Every conversation about finances in his home ended in arguments or stress. By adulthood, he had developed a scarcity mindset. No matter how much he earned, it never felt enough. This negativity caused him to hoard money in fear, never investing, never exploring opportunities. He stayed stuck in jobs he hated, because his mind whispered, "What if you fail? You'll lose everything." The turning point came when he read about inflation and realized his savings-only strategy was actually making him poorer. Terrified, he sought help, and found a financial coach. Together they worked on 2 fronts. Education, learning how money could work for him through investing and side businesses. Mindset, replacing his scarcity-driven mantra with empowering ones. Money is a tool, not a threat, and I create wealth by creating value. Over time, David began small, investing modestly, developing a side hustle, and taking calculated risks. A decade later, he wasn't just financially stable. He had multiple income streams, more freedom, and a calmer relationship with money. Lesson: negative financial thinking keeps you enslaved to fear. When you challenge those beliefs and build new habits, money becomes a tool for growth instead of a source of anxiety. 3. Maria. Healing from relationship negativity. Maria carried scars from years of rejection in her youth. This grew into a belief that she was unlovable. Every new relationship was filtered through that lens. She interpreted neutral actions as rejection. A delayed text meant he doesn't care. A missed call meant he's losing interest. As a result, She pushed people away before they could leave her. Negative thinking became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Her transformation began in therapy, where her counselor asked her to rewrite her core script. Instead of repeating "I am unlovable," she was guided to say daily, "I am worthy of love and respect." At first it felt fake, but with repetition it started to take root. Maria also practiced gratitude by writing down the kind actions people showed her, big or small. Over time she realized that love was all around her. She had just been blind to it. Eventually, Maria's mindset shift allowed her to enter a healthy relationship. By releasing the old belief, she created space for something new. Lesson: relationship negativity often comes from past wounds. Healing requires both reframing the story and actively noticing present evidence of love and value. 4. James. Overcoming career paralysis. James had big dreams of becoming a writer, but his mind was his biggest enemy. Each time he sat down to write, thoughts like "no one will read this" or "you're wasting your time" echoed in his head. Years passed, and his dreams sat in a drawer, collecting dust. Finally, he decided to fight back with action. He committed to writing for 15 minutes every day, no matter how bad it felt. He also began sharing his work anonymously online, allowing himself to grow without the weight of judgment. As he gained feedback, his confidence grew. Within 2 years, James self-published his first book, and eventually, he built a loyal audience. His negative thoughts didn't vanish overnight, but each action he took weakened their grip. Lesson: when negativity paralyzes your career, the antidote is consistent, courageous action, even in small doses. The universal pattern. Though Sarah, David, Maria, and James had different struggles, self-doubt, financial fear, relationship wounds, and career paralysis, they all followed a similar journey: awareness. They recognized the negative thought pattern. Challenge: they questioned the validity of those beliefs. Reframe: they created empowering alternative thoughts. Action: they practiced new behaviors aligned with the new mindset. Reinforcement: they built habits that strengthened their new belief. This is the blueprint for transformation. No matter the form negativity takes, the process of breaking free follows these universal steps. 6. Why stories matter. Why do we tell these stories? Because negativity makes you feel alone, as if you're the only one struggling. But the truth is, everyone battles negative thoughts. Seeing how others overcame them reminds you that change is possible. Stories prove that you are not broken. You are simply human. And if they could break free, so can you. Expanding the vision. Imagine your own story being rewritten. Picture the version of yourself who no longer believes the lies of negativity. Instead of doubting, you act. Instead of hiding, you show up. Instead of sabotaging, you build. What would your relationships look like? Your career? Your health? Your sense of peace? This is not wishful thinking. It's the direct result of applying the same blueprint that transformed Sarah, David, Maria, and Jane. Chapter 6. Building a positive mental framework. Tools for daily mastery. Breaking free from negative thinking is not a one-time event. It's not like flipping a switch where darkness instantly turns to light and never returns. Negative thoughts will try to sneak back, sometimes disguised as realism or self-protection. That's why you need a mental framework, a system of daily practices, beliefs, and habits that keep you grounded in positivity and resilience. In this chapter we will build that framework, step by step. 1. The power of mental architecture. Think of your mind like a house. If negativity has lived there for years, it has probably built strong walls, reinforced doors, and familiar pathways. Even if you kick it out without rebuilding, it will find its way back in. So, the key is reconstruction. You must tear down the old, weak structures. Build strong foundations of positive beliefs. Install habits that act like doors and windows, keeping negativity out while letting in fresh energy. 2. Morning rituals that rewire the brain. The way you start your day sets the tone for how your brain operates. If your first thoughts are negative, worry, dread, or complaints, your mind is primed to look for problems all day. Here's how to reset. A gratitude anchoring. Before reaching for your phone, list 3 things you're grateful for. Science shows gratitude shifts your brain's focus from scarcity to abundance, reducing anxiety and depression. B. Affirmation power. Repeat empowering affirmations that counteract your deepest negative belief. For example, if you often think I'm not enough, say, I am more than capable. I create value wherever I go. If you think the world is against me, say, opportunities surround me and I am ready to embrace them. C. Visualization. Spend 5 minutes visualizing the best version of your day. See yourself handling challenges with confidence, speaking calmly, and smiling at small victories. Even if your day goes differently, your brain will already be primed to interpret events in a more empowering way. 3. Midday mental resets. Negativity often creeps in during stress or fatigue. That's why midday check-ins are vital. The 3-breath pause. Stop whatever you're doing. Close your eyes and take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each exhale, release tension. Reframe the situation. Ask yourself, is this problem as big as my brain is making it? Often, 90% of our stress is a mental exaggeration. Mini gratitude reset. Write 1 thing going right at that very moment. It could be as small as I have clean water, or I finished my task. This habit prevents negativity from spiraling out of control during the day. 4. Evening reflection rituals. Your brain doesn't rest when you sleep. It processes your entire day. That means the last thoughts before bed have enormous power. The Win Journal. Write down 3 wins from your day, no matter how small. This trains your mind to recognize progress instead of failures. Release exercise. Write down any negative thought or worry, then literally close the notebook or tear the paper. Symbolically, you are leaving it behind. Day visualization for tomorrow. See yourself waking up energized and calm, ready to create positivity. With practice, you'll notice you sleep deeper and wake up less anxious. 5. The power of language. Negativity often hides in your words. Notice how often you say things like, I can't. It's always like this. Nothing ever works out for me. Language shapes thought. To shift. Replace I can't with I am learning how to. Replace it's always bad with this is temporary, and I'm finding solution. By consciously upgrading your language, you automatically upgrade your mindset. 6. The circle of influence. You cannot build positivity in isolation. The people you spend time with either fuel your growth or drain. Energy givers. People who encourage, inspire, and remind you of your potential. Energy takers. People who gossip, complain, or constantly dwell on negativity. Audit your circle. Spend more time with energy givers and set boundaries with takers. Even if you can't avoid them completely, like coworkers, you can protect your mental space by refusing to engage in negativity loops. 7. Advanced mental tools. For those ready to go deeper, here are powerful practices. A cognitive reframing. Ask, what else could this mean? Example. Instead of my friend didn't call back, they don't care. Reframe it to, they may be busy. I'll give them space and check later. B. The 5-second rule. Mel Robbins method. When a negative thought strikes, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then replace it with action. This interrupts negativity before it grows. C. Journaling for clarity. Write your negative thought in one column and challenge it in another. Thought. I'll never succeed. Challenge. I've succeeded before in other areas. Success is possible again, turning negativity into growth. Here's the ultimate shift. Negativity doesn't have to be your enemy. It can be a signal. Each negative thought is pointing towards something deeper: fear, insecurity, or past trauma. Instead of resisting, ask, what is this teaching me? Fear of failure. You care deeply about your goals. Anger. Something important to you feels threatened. Doubt. You are stepping into unfamiliar territory, which means growth is possible. By reframing negativity as a teacher, you rob it of its power. Building resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back faster after setbacks. It doesn't mean you'll never feel negative again. It means negativity won't control you. Resilient people accept challenges as temporary, learn from failures instead of labeling themselves as failures, keep moving forward despite fear. And resilience is built through repetition. The more you practice the daily tools above, the faster you'll recover when negativity strikes. 10. The compounding effect. Think of positivity like compound interest: small daily deposits, gratitude, affirmations, journaling, reframing, accumulate into massive change over time. At first you may not notice, but weeks later you'll realize you're less reactive. Months later you'll notice you bounce back quicker. Years later you'll look back and wonder how you ever lived under negativity's shadow. Thus, closing thought. Negativity is stubborn, but it is not invincible. With rituals, language shifts, stronger relationships, and mental tools, you can build an inner framework that makes positivity your default state. In this framework, negativity doesn't disappear. It simply loses its grip. You become the architect of your own mind. Chapter 7. Applying positivity in life's toughest moments. It's easy to feel positive when things are going well, when your plans succeed, when people treat you kindly, when life flows smoothly. But the real test of your mindset is not during calm seas, it's during the storms. When work pressures pile up, when finances are tight, when relationships feel strained, and when unexpected setbacks knock you down. In this chapter, we'll explore how to train your mind to stay resilient and positive in the very moments that would normally trigger negativity. Because true strength is not avoiding challenges, it's facing them differently. Positivity in the workplace. The modern workplace is a breeding ground for negative thoughts. Stress, competition, deadlines, office politics, and sometimes even toxic environments. Many people spend most of their week surrounded by situations that test their patience and optimism. Here's how to maintain positivity at work. Take a shift from problems to projects. Instead of saying this is a huge problem, reframe it as, this is a project I will learn to manage. Problems drain energy. Projects build energy. Detach from office gossip. Gossip fuels negativity faster than anything. Refuse to feed it. When others complain, redirect the conversation, or stay silent. Over time, people will notice you bring solutions, not complaints. Micro moments of joy. Keep small rituals in your day. Stepping outside for fresh air, listening to a positive podcast, or stretching for 2 minutes. These micro moments protect you from negativity buildup. Respond. Don't react. When criticized or confronted, take a breath before answering. A calm, thoughtful response maintains control. An instant reaction gives power to negativity. 2. Financial stress and the negativity trap. Money worries are one of the biggest triggers of negative thinking. Fear of debt, job insecurity, or unexpected expenses can quickly spiral into hopelessness. To stay positive under financial stress, take a focus on control, not panic. Ask, what can I do today? Maybe it's creating a budget, learning a new skill, or cutting unnecessary expenses. Action reduces fear. Detach worth from wealth. Many people tie their self-esteem to their bank balance. Remind yourself, my value is not my net worth. Celebrate small wins. Even paying down a small debt or saving a few dollars is progress. Train your brain to notice progress instead of only focusing on what's missing. Abundance mindset. Scarcity says, there's never enough. Abundance says, opportunities exist, and I will find them. This shift opens your eyes to side hustles, new skills and investments, relationships and emotional triggers. Relationships, whether romantic, family or friendships, can either be a source of joy or a breeding ground for negativity. Arguments, disappointments, and miscommunication often lead to hurtful thoughts like, they don't care about me, or I'll never be good enough. How to bring positivity into relationships. Pause before responding. Negative thinking often escalates conflict. Taking even a 5-second pause allows you to respond with calm, instead of reacting with anger. Assume positive intent. Instead of jumping to conclusions, ask, what if they didn't mean harm? This simple mindset can prevent unnecessary resentment. Speak gratitude. Regularly tell loved ones what you appreciate about them. Gratitude strengthens bonds and reduces misunderstandings. Don't replay arguments. Many people replay negative conversations in their heads, fueling resentment. When the moment is over, mentally let it go. Health challenges and negative thinking. Illness, fatigue, or even lack of fitness can trigger self-pity and despair. When your body feels weak, your mind can easily fall into negativity. Control what you can. You may not control every health challenge, but you can control diet, sleep, exercise and mindset. Celebrate the body you have. Instead of focusing only on limitations, acknowledge what your body can do. A walk, a stretch, or even breathing deeply is a win. Reframe pain. Pain is often a messenger, not an enemy. Instead of why me, ask, what is this teaching me? Detached. Fine. Unexpected setbacks. Staying grounded. Life is unpredictable. Layoffs, accidents, failures, betrayals. These moments can knock the wind out of you. In these moments, negativity screams the loudest. Here's how to stay positive when life blindsides you. Anchor to perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Most setbacks, though painful, lose their weight with time. Lean on your support system. Don't isolate. Share with a trusted friend or mentor who can give perspective when your mind spirals. Focus on the next step, not the whole solution, just the very next action. Positivity grows when progress is made, even in small steps. Daily micro shields against negativity. In high-pressure moments, small protective habits can act like shields. Breathing anchors. Deep breathing slows down panic. Positive triggers. A song, quote, or even a photo that uplifts you can reset your state instantly. Reset word. Choose one empowering word like strength, focus, or calm. Repeat it when negativity tries to dominate. 7. Building anti-fragility. The ultimate goal is not just resilience, bouncing back, but anti-fragility, growing stronger. Because of challenges, imagine seeing each difficult moment, not as a threat, but as a gym for your mind. Every stressful situation is a workout making you mentally tougher. When you practice positivity under pressure, workplace stress turns into leadership training. Financial struggles sharpen creativity. Relationship challenges deepen empathy. Health battles strengthen discipline. Negativity loses power when you see challenges as training, instead of punishment. Real-life example. Think of someone who remained positive during chaos. Maybe a colleague who lost their job but used it as a chance to start a successful business. Or a person battling illness, who inspired others with their optimism. What sets them apart is not that they never felt fear or anger. It's that they refused to let negativity define their response. Training yourself daily. Just like muscles, positivity under pressure grows with consistent training. Expose yourself to small challenges intentionally. Cold showers, exercise, or difficult conversations all build mental toughness. Track your responses. Write down how you handled stress each day. Over time, you'll notice patterns of growth. Reward yourself for staying calm. Celebrate progress, not perfection. The shift. When you begin to apply positivity in your toughest moments, something extraordinary happens. Setbacks no longer crush you. They refine you. Stress no longer controls you. It strengthens you. And negativity no longer feels like a prison. It becomes fuel for growth. Chapter 8. Rewiring the subconscious. Eliminating deep-rooted negativity. Most people try to fight negativity on the surface level. Changing a thought here, replacing a word there, forcing themselves to think positive. But the truth is, negativity doesn't just sit in the conscious mind, it lives deep in the subconscious. The part of your brain that runs 90% of your daily habits, beliefs, and reactions. Think of the subconscious as the operating system of your life. If it's programmed with self-doubt, fear, or scarcity, then no matter how hard you try consciously, negativity will always return. To truly break free, you must go deeper. You must reprogram the subconscious. Understanding the subconscious blueprint. The subconscious is shaped by childhood experiences. What your parents, teachers, and environment told you. If you were often criticized, you may subconsciously believe, "I'm not good enough." Repetition. Messages heard over and over, like money is hard to make, or people can't be trusted. Emotional imprints. Traumas or emotional shocks can lock in beliefs that guide behavior for decades. These subconscious beliefs become your default scripts. They run in the background, guiding your choices without you realizing it. 2. The power of awareness. The first step is recognition. You cannot change what you don't see. Here are ways to identify subconscious negativity. Observe your reactions. Notice how you respond under stress. Do you default to fear, anger, or avoidance? That's your subconscious at work. Listen to your inner dialogue. When things go wrong, what's the first phrase that pops up? I can't handle this. I'm unlucky. Or it's always my fault. That's a subconscious script. Track patterns. If the same problems repeat in your life, failed relationships, financial struggles, procrastination, it's likely tied to a hidden belief. The reprogramming through repetition. The subconscious doesn't change overnight. It responds to consistent repetition, the same way it was programmed in the first place. Affirmations with emotion. Saying I am confident, robotic won't work. But repeating it daily with belief and feeling starts to etch it into your subconscious. Visualization. The subconscious struggles to distinguish imagination from reality. Vividly picture yourself succeeding, speaking confidently, or living abundantly. Over time, your brain begins to accept this as normal. Identity shift. Instead of saying I want to be disciplined, say I am disciplined. The subconscious works with identity, not wishful thinking. 4. Healing emotional imprints. Many subconscious blocks come from past wounds. Reprogramming requires healing. Write down negative beliefs you picked up as a child. I'm too slow. I'll never succeed. Love is conditional. Challenge the source. Ask yourself, Was this really true? Or was it just someone else's projection? Most limiting beliefs came from someone else's pain, not your truth. Replace with empowering beliefs. For each old script, write a new one. I am capable. I am worthy of love. I create success. Anchoring positivity through daily rituals. To make positivity automatic, embed it in your subconscious through rituals. Use a morning priming. Start each day with 5 minutes of visualization, gratitude and affirmations. This sets the tone before negativity creeps in. The subconscious is most open just before sleep. Replace scrolling on your phone with listening to affirmations, meditating or writing positive reflections. Environmental cues. Surround yourself with reminders, sticky notes, wallpapers, alarms with uplifting messages. Your environment constantly feeds your subconscious. 6. Hypnosis and deep relaxation techniques. Hypnosis, meditation, and breathwork are powerful tools to access the subconscious. Guided hypnosis. Many people use recorded sessions to release fears, stop negative habits, or build confidence. Deep breathing, long, slow breaths, calm the nervous system, opening the door for positive suggestions to enter. Theta state meditation. When the brain is in a relaxed, drowsy state, it's more receptive to new programming. Listening to empowering messages in this state can be transformative. 7. Breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. One of the clearest signs of subconscious negativity is self-sabotage. You set a goal, start strong, then unconsciously ruin your progress. Missing deadlines, overspending or pushing people away. Why? Because your subconscious believes you don't deserve success. To break this cycle and recognize the pattern, awareness weakens its hold. Interrupt the cycle. When you feel yourself sliding into sabotage, pause and take a different action. Reprogram deservingness. Repeat, I deserve success. I am worthy of good things. Over time, your subconscious will align with this truth. Case study. Lisa's transformation. Lisa struggled with weight for years. Every time she lost a few pounds, she rewarded herself with junk food, then regained it. She wasn't just battling food habits. She carried a subconscious belief. I'll always be overweight. It runs in my family. Through journaling and affirmations, she began reprogramming her belief. I am in control of my body. I choose health daily. She visualized herself as energetic, fit, and confident. At first, it felt fake, but with time, her actions aligned with her new belief. She started cooking healthier meals, exercising consistently, and even joined a supportive fitness community. Within 2 years, she not only transformed her body, but her self-image. Her subconscious no longer fought against her goals. It supported them. Patience and persistence. Reprogramming the subconscious is not instant. Think of it like planting seeds. At first, nothing seems to happen. But with daily watering, affirmations, visualizations, actions, the roots grow deep. Eventually, your subconscious blooms with new patterns. Living with a rewired mind. When negativity no longer dominates your subconscious, you approach challenges with calm, not fear. Success feels natural, not forced. Relationships flow with trust instead of suspicion. Financial and personal growth become easier because your inner compass points to abundance. This is the real freedom, when your subconscious is no longer your enemy, but your greatest ally. Chapter 9. Rising strong. Building resilience in the face of adversity. Negativity is easiest to control when life is calm. But the real test comes when the storm hits, when you lose your job, when a relationship ends, when bills pile up, when health fails, or when the future looks uncertain. Adversity has a way of pulling you down into a spiral of fear, anger, and despair. And yet, some people rise stronger after hardship, while others break apart. The difference isn't luck. The difference is resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to endure the storm, and to use pain as fuel for growth. In this chapter, we'll uncover how to build deep resilience, how to keep negativity from crushing your spirit in your darkest seasons, and how to transform hardship into the foundation for a stronger future. Understanding resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or pretending life is easy. It's about absorbing the shock, accepting that hardship is real instead of denying it, maintaining perspective, seeing beyond the crisis, knowing storms are temporary, adapting and rising, using the challenge to evolve into a wiser, tougher version of yourself. Think of a tree in a hurricane. The rigid ones snap. The flexible ones bend with the wind but remain rooted. That's resilience. 2. Why negativity peaks in adversity. Hardship triggers the brain's survival mode. The mind floods with fear. What if this never ends? What if I fail completely? Old wounds resurface. Past failures or rejections replay, strengthening hopelessness. Negative self-talk grows louder. I'm not strong enough. I can't do this. Everything is against me. This spiral is natural, but it's not the end. Resilience begins when you learn to interrupt the spiral and redirect your mind towards solutions and strength. The 3 stages of resilience. Resilience is not instant. It develops in stages. Stage 1. Survive the shock. Allow yourself to feel the pain instead of suppressing it. Cry, journal, or talk it out. Avoid destructive numbing substances, endless scrolling, or isolation. Anchor yourself in basic routines. Eat, sleep, move. These keep your body stable while your mind adjusts. Stage 2. Reframe the struggle. Ask, what can this teach me? Every crisis hides a lesson. Patience, discipline, courage, empathy. Shift focus from why me to what now. Forward momentum reduces helplessness. Identify small wins, each one rebuilds your confidence. Stage 3. Rise stronger. Build new meaning from your hardship. Survivors of adversity often discover deeper strength, purpose, and clarity than before. Use the pain as a platform. Share your story. Help others or channel it into creative or professional growth. Let the experience rewrite your self-image. I am unbreakable. I am a fighter. I can handle more than I thought. Practical tools to build resilience. Resilience isn't a trait you're born with. It's a skill you build. The 90-second rule. When hit with anger, panic, or despair, emotions flood for about 90 seconds. Instead of reacting, breathe deeply and wait it out. Most negativity weakens if not fed with action. The power of story. Write your hardship as if it's a chapter in a book. How will the hero you grow, adapt, and triumph? Framing yourself as the main character shifts you from victim to fighter. Resilience anchors. Create a list of anchors. People, quotes, songs, prayers, or habits that ground you when negativity rises. Keep them accessible. Micro goals. In adversity, big goals feel impossible. Break everything into small, winnable actions. Each win rebuilds momentum. The role of mindset in adversity. A resilient mindset is not about blind optimism. It's about realistic hope. Pessimists see the storm as permanent. Optimists see it as temporary. Realists prepare for the storm, but they never lose sight of the sun that follows. Resilient people are not naive. They acknowledge hardship fully but refuse to give it ultimate power. 6. Turning pain into power. Adversity can destroy you or refine you. The choice lies in whether you let negativity dominate. Financial struggles. Many millionaires faced bankruptcy before success. Instead of quitting, They treated failure as tuition for wisdom. Loss and grief, painful as it is. Grief often teaches empathy, resilience, and appreciation for life's fragility. Failure, every great inventor, athlete or entrepreneur has failed dozens of times. Failure is often the doorway to mastery. The question isn't, how do I avoid hardship? But how do I use hardship? 7. The social factor. Leaning on others. Negativity thrives in isolation. Resilience thrives in connection. Support systems, friends, family, mentors or groups remind you that you're not alone. Shared stories, hearing how others overcame hardship, plants hope in your mind. Accountability, supportive people can push you forward when you feel like giving up. Asking for help is not weakness, it's strategy. 8. Case study. David's reinvention. David lost his business in an economic downturn. Debt piled up. Friends doubted him, and he nearly gave up. His subconscious screamed, "You're a failure, it's over." But instead of staying down, he decided to apply resilience principles. He reframed his story. This loss is not the end, it's training for a bigger comeback. He cut unnecessary expenses, rebuilt his skills and used his past failure as a teaching tool. Within 3 years he launched a new company that became more successful than his first. David later said, "Losing everything taught me resilience. Without that pain I wouldn't have found this strength." Daily practices for resilient living. To make resilience part of who you are. Morning gratitude. Start each day listing 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude weakens negativity. Resilience journal. Record daily challenges and how you handle them. Over time you'll see your growth. Physical strength. Exercise trains not just the body but the mind. Pushing through physical struggle builds resilience against mental struggle. Faith or philosophy. Whether through prayer, meditation, or philosophy, anchor yourself to something bigger than the problem. 10. The resilient identity. True resilience is when you no longer see yourself as fragile. Instead you embody the belief, I can endure storms. Hardship is temporary, but I am permanent. I don't just survive, I transform. When adversity comes again, and it will, you will not crumble. You will bend, adapt and rise even stronger. 11. The gift of adversity. It may sound strange, but adversity carries gifts hidden inside. It strips away illusions, revealing what truly matters. It forges character in fire. It teaches you to separate what you can control from what you can't. It gives you the courage to reinvent yourself. Resilience is not just about surviving. It's about discovering your highest self in the hardest time. Chapter 10. The lifelong mastery of positive thinking. Breaking free from negative thinking isn't a one-time event. It's a journey that continues every day of your life. Negativity will always try to creep back in. Challenges will arise, doubts will whisper, and setbacks will test your resolve. But if you train your mind with consistent habits, surround yourself with the right environment, and build an identity rooted in growth and optimism, positivity becomes not just a practice, but a way of life. This final chapter is about creating a blueprint for lifelong mastery, a system that ensures you never slip back into the prison of negativity, but instead live with clarity, confidence and power. The nature of lifelong mastery. Most people treat mindset as something temporary. They read a book, watch a motivational video, feel inspired for a week, and then drift back to old patterns. Mastery, however, is different. Mastery is identity. It's not I try to think positive. It's I am a person who thinks positively. Mastery is consistency. It's not about one powerful moment. It's about daily repetition. Mastery is adaptability. It's not clinging to one method, but adjusting as life evolves. To master positivity, you must see it as a discipline, like fitness or language learning. You don't stop once you reach a certain level, you refine it for life. The 4 pillars of lifelong positive thinking. To anchor positivity permanently, you need strong pillars that hold your mindset steady through every season of life. Pillar 1. Self-awareness. Negativity thrives when you're blind to your thoughts. Awareness allows you to catch negativity early. Daily check-ins. Ask, what am I thinking right now? Is this thought serving me? Triggers list. Identify situations, people, or habits that spark negativity, and plan strategies in advance. Reflection rituals. Journaling at night reveals hidden thought patterns that need shifting. Pillar 2. Thought discipline. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing your response to reality. Use reframing. This is not a dead end, it's a detour. Replace absolutes. Instead of "I always fail," say "this time didn't work, but I can learn and try differently." Interrupt spirals. Use mantras, deep breaths, or physical action to stop negativity before it builds momentum. Pillar 3. Emotional regulation. Emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. Don't practice pause. Delay reacting to emotional triggers. Use movement. Exercise. Walking or stretching drains negative energy. Cultivate calm. Meditation, prayer or breathing practices create inner stillness. Pillar 4. Environment design. Your environment either supports your mindset or sabotages it. Let's surround yourself with growth-minded people. Create a physical space that inspires clean, organized, uplifting. Control inputs. Books, podcasts, and media should fuel positivity, not drain it. 3. The cycle of renewal. Even the strongest minds experience negative days. Mastery means building a cycle of renewal that quickly restores your focus. Notice the dip. Catch yourself slipping into negativity. Pause and reflect. Ask, what triggered this? Shift energy. Move, breathe or journal. Choose the upgrade. Replace the old thought with an empowering one. This cycle prevents temporary struggles from becoming permanent setbacks. Let's bore. Building mental muscles for life. Just as physical muscles grow with training, mental strength grows with consistent practice. Write down 3 unique things you're grateful for every day. Over time, your brain rewires to seek positives. There's a realization. Picture yourself succeeding before challenges. This builds confidence and reduces fear. Affirmations with evidence. Instead of empty phrases, root affirmations in proof. For example, I am disciplined. I proved it yesterday when I woke early and worked out. Mind challenges. Deliberately put yourself in small, uncomfortable situations to practice positivity under stress. This strengthens resilience. Overcoming life's bigger tests. Life will bring massive tests. Loss, failure, rejection, betrayal. These are the moments where negativity is loudest. To rise above, expect hardship. Don't be shocked when struggles come. Anticipate them. Anchor to purpose. Ask, why must I keep going? Purpose fuels resilience when motivation fades. Refuse identity collapse. Even if you lose a job, relationship, or opportunity, you are not your circumstances. You remain whole, valuable, and capable. Mastery means that no matter what life strips away, your core identity stays rooted in strength. 6. The role of service in positive thinking. One of the most powerful ways to break free from negativity permanently is to serve others. Helping someone else shifts focus from problems to solutions. The resilient identity. When positivity becomes identity, your language, decisions and energy transform. You begin to live as someone who believes challenges carry lessons, sees failure as feedback, treats people with encouragement rather than criticism, walks into uncertain situations with calm confidence. You stop trying to be positive. You simply are positive. At 08. The legacy of a positive mind. Your mindset does not just affect you. It shapes the lives of everyone you touch. A parent's outlook becomes a child's foundation. A leader's mindset spreads through a team or company. A friend's encouragement can lift someone out of despair. By mastering positivity, you're not only securing your freedom, you're building a legacy of resilience and strength that can outlive you. Daily blueprint for lifelong mastery. Here's a practical framework to follow. At a morning power ritual, gratitude, visualization, affirmations, midday reset, short walk, breathing or journal check-in, evening reflection, write lessons from the day, wins, and areas for growth. Weekly review, reflect on progress, refine strategies, and set new intentions. Consistency transforms habits. Habits shape character. Character becomes destiny. 10. The endless journey. Mastery is not a finish line. It's a path you walk for life. Some days will be easy. Some will test you to your core. But with each step your mind grows stronger, your spirit grows steadier, and your ability to influence others expands. Breaking free from negative thinking is the first victory. Staying free is the ultimate one. And with these principles, practices, and identity shifts, you are equipped to walk this journey, not just for weeks or months, but for a lifetime.